Hey YouTube, Arbiter Uv5r here. Today I got the Bofang Uv5r two-way ham radio. So out of the box, when you get this, I got this off of Amazon, I believe. Yes, I got this off Amazon. It came in this box. Bofang and all that stuff. It came with this antenna. This is its stock antenna right here. So this isn't anything fancy, it's just a normal antenna. I don't know if it's gonna focus in there. But anyways, antenna is rated for 136 to 174, and then 400 to 520 megahertz. Yes, megahertz. But anyways, so your Bofang Uv5r will basically come looking like exactly like this. Not much to it. So, and then you're also going to get your charger with it. Pretty simple, just plug it into the wall and then throw it on there like so, and it'll charge. You're also going to get a headset. So, and then these things are extremely durable because I accidentally washed it twice and it still works perfectly. So that's pretty cool. Alright, now, so that's what comes in the box. If you want to pay extra, you can get a computer programming cable, and I'll talk about the disadvantages to that later. But if you really want to get some cool stuff, well, actually, let me rephrase this. So, basically it depends on what you're going to use this for. If you're going to use this for a family walkie-talkie, just, hang out with family, chances are you're probably just going to need it like this in the charger. There's not much more to it. You can look up the frequencies, and I'll get into that later, of the, what it uses to talk to other walkie-talkies, and it doesn't require a license. Disclosure right now in this film, though, if you do want to talk to licenses or frequencies such as 145, 146, or 147, that does require a ham license. So it's, and the penalties are pretty harsh for it. And the FCC will find you if you are being annoying. It's quite easy to find somebody. It's called fox hunting, and that's done with a directional beam. And basically when you transmit, they take that beam and they can move it left and right, and they can figure out what direction you're in and how close they are to you. So they'll find you, and it's pretty easy because I've actually tried to find I've gone on a fox hunt recently, which is pretty fun. But anyways, so that's standard Uv5r. So this can broadcast on a ham radio, on a ham frequency. This also makes a very nice scanner. But once again, if you get pulled over and you have a scanner in your car, and you don't have a radio license, a technician's license, they can either cite that for it, confiscate the radio. I'm not too sure if you can get arrested for that because you're not transmitting, you're just scanning. But anyways, that's just basics of the Uv5r. So now, let's say I want to use this, I bought this, and I want to use it for ham, let's say that. So, if you're starting off with ham and you just got your license, this is not a bad radio to work with. There's a lot of room for There's a lot of room for learning in this thing, which is really nice. And once you get the hang of it, it's flying by. You can really figure it out good. Great starter, and for $24, you can't go wrong. So, all right, let's get into this. So if you want to get this for ham transmitting, you're gonna need one of two things. You're going to need a decent antenna, and this one's mainly for if you're within, I'd say use this one if you're within 5 miles of the repeater. And what a repeater is basically, let's say we have, let's take the Zippo. Let's say this Zippo right here, this lighter, is a person using a radio. And then let's say that this, let's say this 7.62 by 54 millimeter casing is another person trying to use a radio, and this is a repeater. So basically what happens is, let's say that these guys, so we have walkie-talkie A, walkie-talkie B, these guys are probably 30, 40 miles plus a ways away. Uv5r will not go that far. Even with a giant antenna, you're probably just going to get about 25 miles on it. And it's a 4-watt max power output, so it's not that great transmitting long distance. So, what this guy is going to do, he's going to get the frequency to his repeater. He's going to type in the frequency, so you could just throw anything out there from, let's say the frequency is 146,370. So he'll type that in to his walkie-talkie or his Uv5r. He'll set the offset to 2 meter if it's a 2 meter. Usually they are. That's what I stick with. It's a 2 meter. So it's your offsets for all default 2 meters. I'm going to tell you right now, all default 2 meter offsets is going to be 000.600. So it's 3 zeros point and then 600. That's your offset. And then depending on what the frequency on the internet says, it's going to be an upshift or downshift. So what that means is when you transmit your walkie-talkie or when you press in to talk, you're going to see your number either go up or down based on your offset. And then you can have encryption tones, and that's basically, this guy will have to type that in if there's a specific encryption. In this radio it's called a TCTCS tone. And then on the piece of paper where it tells you repeaters, that's going to be called the tone. So we'll get to that later. But basically, so now once this guy logs into the repeater, he can talk to him. The repeater will repeat the signal to him and to anyone else on that frequency at any given time. So that's just the kind of advantages of a repeater. So you can definitely see why dispatch or firefighters, police, and so on use it. And then aircraft can use that also in a sense of VOR, I think. But that's a whole different subject. But anyways, so in order to reach our repeater, you're probably not going to want to use this antenna. Honestly, if you're gonna buy this radio, I wouldn't even bother using this antenna because I have this set to a repeater right now. I turn it on. That's my repeater frequency. Oh wow. Stand corrected. Well, I'm pretty close to the repeater. But if I were you, I would definitely get a bigger radio. And I'll show you how to set that up later so it does that. So, or get a bigger antenna. So like I said, you can either go with that little one, depending on your range, to the repeater. I, when I'm driving, love to use my, these are called rubber duckies. Ham guys call them rubber duckies, so I guess that's a good name for it. So this is a pretty giant rubber ducky. I believe it is a 15-inch, and that screws on there. And then your connection type is going to be SMA female, and the radio is a male. So this will get me very, very nice reception. I can hit this repeater I'm looking at right now is probably within 10 miles away. And then this next repeater, this is probably looking about, I'm thinking, let's see, probably 20 miles. So, and like I said, I'll show you how to set that up, because there's a lot of things on YouTube that are kind of outdated. I'm not dissing anyone, but I'm going to do my best to show you the new one. The new way of doing this for the new systems. They're all different. So, get yourself a long antenna like that, and then in a separate video, I'll show you how to make a big antenna for ham, for this radio. But like I said, if you're starting with ham and you've got your technician's license and you want to get started in the ham field, this is not a bad way to start off. It's not going to give you the best output. It's not going to give you the best reception. It's not going to give you the best, basically anything, but it will work for what you need. So, what you're going to need for your repeater stuff is, once again, you're going to need the antenna, and we're going to need a booklet of frequencies in the area. So I'll show you mine. Okay, so this is my booklet of all the repeaters in my area, repeaters in businesses and police and everything. This is our standard household 22 channel walkie-talkie frequencies. So as you can see, if you need to pause the video or something to see what this is, then you go right ahead. These are going to be all your different channels for your normal Motorola 22 channel walkie-talkies. Now here's our actual repeaters. So I live in Texas, and these are all the repeaters in Texas basically. Go on Google and just type in all repeaters in space your state and then enter, and it's going to show you all these. You're going to have to click 2 meter because the Uv5r is 2 meter, but you're going to have to click 2 meter, and then it's just going to list all these. And there's even a map feature. You can see where your repeater is located for distances. But like I was saying, so we have our main, like for example, we have our 145 1500, and then it's a negative or a downshift for the offset. So I'll show you how to set that. And then we got our offset 0.6, no tone, and then so for this one, so basically I'm going to say it and then I'll show you how to do it, because there's different ways people learn. If you're a visual learner, you'll have to wait, but if you like to hear things to help you learn, you're going to go to you're going to press VFO on your walkie-talkie. Actually, you know what, I'll do it. What the hell, I'll take the antenna off so that way it doesn't get in the way. So turn your walkie-talkie on. Alright, you're going to see two things. This is your channel mode. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and set up the voice so you can hear what I'm doing. Okay. So this is our channel mode. We're going to need to go to frequency mode, so that's MR. So click the orange button for MR.
Frequency mode.
And then it's going to say frequency mode. Cool. So, here's what we're going to do. Let's just say we want to connect to, let's see here. This won't work for me, but I'm going to show you how to connect to one. 145 1500. Let's do the one in Wichita Falls, Texas. Call sign WX5TWS. And that's the ham call sign, so that's the license. But so what we're gonna do is we're gonna type in one. Actually, let me make sure my stuff is clear.
CTCSF. Confirm. CTCSF.
Don't worry about this stuff. I'm just clearing out some old file here.
Confirm.
Okay. So we're going to type in our frequency. So 145 1500. 145 150. So, and then the radio knows to automatically put a 0 in that second or that fourth quadrant, so you don't need to do that. Alright, so now we're going to work with our, we're going to go to menu, 25, and then menu.
Frequency direction.
Frequency direction, that's your upshift or downshift. So we have a downshift, negative sign. So you're going to go to down, and you're going to see that negative sign right there, and then confirm. Okay, so now we're going to set our offset. Our offset is 0.6 megahertz. So, and that's standard 2 meter. Menu.
Direction.
Oh.
Confirm.
So let's go up here. Offset. Alright. If it wants to focus in, it probably won't.
Offset frequency.
It always does this. But anyway, okay. Come on. There we go. So menu, offset, and then click menu. Just select offset. So we're gonna go to 0, 0, 0, and then 6, 0, 0. Confirm. Exit. So now we have our offset done. And so what that negative shift, what the offset does, is when you click your transmit button, your frequency will transmit, or your radio will transmit on 144.550, but you will listen in on 145.150. So that's just how repeaters work. And then we're gonna do our tone, or our what's it called? This is our basically encryption right here. So 192.1.192.8. Sorry, I'm confusing you. Menu. Let's go down to TCCS. There it is. Menu. So that's 192.8. 192.8. And then menu. And that's going to confirm it, and now you're saved into it. Cool. So, how do you know if you successfully grab the repeater? You'd screw in your antenna here, and you'd hit your transmit button. And I'll show you what happens when you do hit the repeater. Now, when I first started off, there was a lot of things I couldn't figure out because none of these were working for me. And that's because, I mean, you gotta remember, you're using a 2 watt on a repeater. People use 50 watts, 60 watts. So you have to be really close with this guy to work. But if you're in a populated area, you should be fine. But anyways, I'm not gonna hit that repeater because that's Wichita. That's very far from here. But anyways, and then if you wanted to save that, you go to menu, option 2, 7, and then you're gonna go to
memory channel.
Just get memory channel, up, and then where it doesn't say channel is an open space. So you click menu.
Receiving memory.
It's considered receiving memory, and that means it's saved it in. So that doesn't mean this is your basically encoding screen. So now you're gonna go to your channel, and there's our 145, 150, and this plus and minus upshift just means that the radio is doing whatever it wants. It'll still work regardless. So once again, just make sure transmit 144.550, receive on 145.150. Okay, so let's just say you hit the repeater and you want to make sure you typed on all your stuff and you want to make sure that your repeater is going to work. Here's how you do that. Actually, let me go down here.
2, 1, 0.
Okay, hopefully this works. So I'm going to put on my giant rubber ducky here because I'm going to need it. And this is my repeater that's pretty close to where I am. And then I'm going to hit my transmit button. And I should hear a tone that sounds like Morse code afterwards. So that one wasn't Morse code, but it was kind of scratchy. Let me give you a better reception for that one. Okay, so in order to get the tone, like I said, once again, it's a 4-watt radio, so you really gotta have patience with it. But if you get all your encryptions right, and you want to make sure you hit your repeater, it's gonna make this sound. Hit your transmit button. Hold on. There we go. And then that clicking is just because it's a long distance, but different repeaters will have different sign-ins. That was that one. Usually you'll hear that Morse code beep 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 sound. And then I have another repeater in here that has a different sound here. Let's see if we can get them. Probably gonna have to go over to the table. For some reason it has better reception for that repeater. Alright, here we go. So here's a different repeater that doesn't really have a sound. It just kind of beeps in and out. But this is what happened. Doesn't want to do it now. What the heck? So that's the other sound it will make. Different repeaters have different sounds, but basically, if you typed in all your stuff right, it will make that sound when you hit the transmit. One of those sounds when you hit the transmit button. And then there's also some videos where they're saying that you have to put in the transmit frequency on the bottom. You don't need to do that with these new Baofangs. They just don't require that anymore, I guess. So don't worry about that. The offset and the positive negative upshift will do that. But anyways, that's how you hit your repeater. Pretty simple. I mean, once you get the hang of it, just make sure you are licensed. Because when you're talking on a ham frequency, you need to be licensed. So that's a big need to do with that kind of stuff. And the tests aren't too bad, so it's pretty. I mean, if you're into electronics and you know a little bit about radios, you basically just go run down and take it. It's not that bad at all. It wasn't for me. But anyways, so that's basically the basics of the UV5r. I will definitely get into more of it on how to do antennas and stuff like that, because I'm fairly new to it as well, but I have learned a fair share of how to do it all. But so there you go. And you can also scan with it. So basically, once again, you'd look this up. You wouldn't look up repeaters. You would actually look up, let's see, so Texas, let's see here. You can look up your city and then frequencies, and then it'll tell you different dispatch and fire law. And then for some reason my computer actually will give me schools and different places like that. Schools, businesses. I got a lot of stuff in here, so it's kind of cool. Got colleges right here. Public Works, Six Flags. And then here's more repeaters. And then we got businesses, all the businesses around here. So that's pretty cool as well. Tons of businesses. But yeah, so that's the basics of the UV5r. If you're getting into hams, go ahead and buy yourself one. It's a great investment. It's a lot of fun to mess around with, and the conversations you have with people are ones you will never forget. But that's about it. Arbiter G of Adam, out.